Peace to the planet Earth, man. Back on another wonderful Thursday. As always, this is D100 TV, and I want to definitely say thank you for spending time here. Checking out anybody that's been following any of the content on any of the other platforms, man. I definitely want to say at the top of this podcast, the top of this live stream, thank you for pushing the content and just furthering the conversation. We started doing something different on this platform, and we're gonna keep doing something different. We're gonna keep having real conversations and giving different voices the opportunity to be heard. And on that note, I'm excited. I'm here with somebody that actually I've crossed paths with. If you know part of my story or a piece of my story, you know that I was incarcerated for 16 years, 11 months. And this brother right here at the beginning of my bid, when I first touched Sussex 2, back when I was probably 20 years old, 21, didn't really know anything about the penitentiary. Quick story. Brother Willie was one of those ominous, but I say that, but he was just one of them big, 6 foot tall, muscular brothers. I remember seeing Brother Willie because he was in the Nation of Islam, moving in a different way, had his shirt tucked in. He had a different type of discipline in prison that you really didn't see. And at the time I was with the Muslim brothers, Sunni Muslims or Sunni Islam, and I was doing a study because I was still trying to find my path, my way. And I was doing a study about, I want to do a report on different religions for this paper at the time. And I remember, I think I had asked him some questions about the Nation of Islam, and then he sent me, in the midst of our conversation, he basically said in a polite way, hey, you need to go speak to the other brothers, the younger brothers over there, so you can find out who you are too. Which sent me on my way, you know. So I want to salute you, you know, before we get into this, Brother Willie. Before you get an opportunity to introduce yourself, I want to salute you right here, give you your roses at the top, man, because when we cross paths and you asked that question, might have been minute to you, but it was major for me. And I think I had sent you a message before about the pebble in the pond, so to say,
Yes,
that cause ripples, man. Sometimes you cross paths with people that can shape or motivate or encourage or inspire or shift you a different direction. This brother right here, like I said, we crossed paths. Always been a stand-up guy, and he's home. He's working with the RIHD. He's back behind those walls for the right reasons. Talking to the brothers and sisters, being a voice, a listening ear. Brother Willie, go ahead and introduce yourself, man, and just give up a little bit about your background, your history. I know I gave up a little bit of the story, but what do you want to introduce
yeah,
yourself and touch on?
yes, sir. Peace and blessings, brothers. Truly an honor and a privilege for you having me on your show. And pretty much, brother, to link back up, to link back up, man, on a different note, free society as opposed to incarcerated. First and foremost, um, Dick Gregory said this. He said, a smart man gathers knowledge throughout his life, and the wise man shares knowledge throughout his life. And I like to start off like that because when we first met, I was on my journey. I was gathering knowledge. I was trying to find myself. I may have gotten on the path a little bit earlier before you, and as a result of gathering knowledge and to understand wisdom and trying to apply it to myself, to my circumstance, to make the necessary corrections that a lost black man needs to make in haste. Um, my name is Willie X Brown. I am a member of the Nation of Islam. I am a member of RIHD. They embraced me soon. I came home. They was with me before I came home, and we was interacting. And it's always good. One thing I learned from a brother, he said, "Brother, you accomplishing so much within the facility. Continue to do that, but start reaching towards the outside. Put your mind out there. Be already walking out there. Interact. Connect back with the community. Connect with churches. Connect
with the mosque, connect with nonprofit organization, let them know who and what you are, what you stand for, and what you intend to do when you get home. And it's almost when you leave prison, brother. It's like us being birthed back into free society, and we need to have somebody on the other side to receive us to further our transition, our journey, to further our development. And Miss K and the five beautiful warrior sisters that's a part of her organization was all there, uh, standing for me, encouraging me, backing me. And when I came home, they was there doing the same exact thing. And Miss K had embraced me and made me a member of their board. And I hadn't been home 30 days, and she had put me on a speaking engagement to speak at a rally. She said, "Brother, I put you on the list so that you can speak at the rally." I said, she said, "I know I didn't answer Miss K. It's fine. That's what I come home to do." And so
Right.
shout out to Miss K and the members of her board and everybody that has been instrumental in making RIHD, which is Resource Information Help for the Disadvantaged and Disenfranchised, and the wonderful work that they've been doing. Mobile Justice Tour, um, carrying family members to see their loved ones on Wallace Red and Red Onion. Shout out to the incarcerated people. They had a radio station that, that made sure that they was not forgotten. And so I love a lot of the things that they have been doing for criminal justice reform, and having two bills passed, which one of them is the Fishback bill, which is
Mm.
prominent, helped thousands of people to get home. And so, they have been doing a wonderful job, and I'm just glad to be their justice advocate and advocate agent of change. Um, yeah, brother, I did 35 years in 11 months. Came in illiterate, without real direction, completely devoid of knowledge of self, not knowing the history or any of those things that we essentially need in order to try to find out where we are and how we can begin the process of manifesting our gifts and our talents in a world that does everything in its ability to try to deprive us of that. Um, it's been a wonderful journey. Since I've been home. I've been home going on 4 years. I got out in 2018, and it's just been a journey, brother. And I enjoy the journey. It's allowed me to meet new people, working on developing my relationship with my children and my grandchildren, and just reacclimating and trying to continue to do the mentorship, working on my sports brand, Borderline Unlimited, working with various organizations right now, still going into the institutions, speaking to the brothers. And most recently, I did the Black History program that they invited me to at Beaumont Correctional Center. And so, it's just been a wonderful thing, meeting a lot of people. A lot of people want me to be on their boards, and just recently came from a school where they're focusing in on gun violence in our youth, and where they're at in their life, and what type of resources that they may be lacking right now, and how we as a community, the adult community, those who have education, those who have positions where they can provide the resources to accommodate our community, which is in most need of a lot of help. And so we had a chance with another brother, Brother Clyde Borkins, which is known as Brother Sincere, and we went in the name of Rich Mind Community. And we know that the richness that lies in our community is there, but it's going to take us to provide the resources to help unfold those inactive riches that lies deep within their soul and their heart and their mind. And we just want to make sure that we do our part and bring in relevant live content that would ignite the interest in them and wanting to be a better human being, and not necessarily fall victim to the social pitfalls that many of us fell victim to. And so, it's a wonderful time. I get a chance to work with some of my pastors. Uh, when I came home, we're in the process of we want to establish businesses, man. I just If we've been out here for so long, where's our businesses at? So that's one of my concerns right now. We did October the 15th. We did a returning citizen reunion. We must produce businesses. And so that's what many of the returning citizens, that's what we're focusing on. And I told brother, I said, brother, we got to develop businesses because nobody else is going to take care of us like us taking care of ourselves. People are providing for our needs and wants, and our community is steady getting worse and worse each and every day. And the resources are there, but they got to be redirected and guided properly with education. So it's a brain drain in the hood, and we want to make sure that we can make sure we bring our talents, our gift, our learning to our community so that we can begin the process of trying to pump some life back into that community so that community can protect itself, can grow itself, guide itself, and have the essential things that every other community may have for the needs and wants of their community.
Let me ask you this really quick. You spoke about the youth, and instantly I thought about something that just recently happened down here in Atlanta. Gun violence with the youth. It seems like the kids are getting younger and younger that are getting their hands on the guns. Let more and more people are not fighting. The kids are not fighting. We're past the point. There's a certain fear and anxiety in society right now where everybody already assumes in certain neighborhoods that the next person's got a firearm. And a lot of these youngins that I'm talking to out here, they don't believe in being without one. It's just the way society is. What do you do? What is your approach? What is the conversation that you have with somebody that's got that mentality that says, hey, I need to have a gun on me. It's 2023.
Yes, sir. A lot of times this mentality that has been socially engineered with our, can you hear me, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that has been engineered with our young minds, our impressionable young minds that are easily susceptible by the society in as many avenues by which they can expose their mind to imagery of violence. And, we don't have control over that. Brother told me, he said, brother, if you can't put an image in their mind, then the mind is blank. And so when the mind has been deprived of an essential thorough knowledge of self and having a clear vision and purpose for their life, then something else can direct their life. Something else can expose you to things that you normally in your right mind. As we're in our right mind now, we can think more critically. We can think more logically, not to fall victim. Say, no, man, that ain't even me, brother. The real gun, if I have to pick up a gun, the greatest gun that I have is my mind itself, which created the gun. And so, the thing that I try to share with the young brothers, because they're in a vicious cycle now, and it's difficult to reverse a mind that has been so hardened and crystallized that when something happened to one of their brothers whom they love, the natural retaliation is going to create the continual vicious cycle of black on black or murdering one another. And so, my advice is, brother, the greatest thing that I can advise you of, man, let's try to come up with conflict resolution. But first, you got to be given that knowledge of who you are first and how you got in the condition. You got these high, powerful weapons that may come from Russia, that may come from Israel. And this stuff finds its way in our community. The drugs find its way in our community. And then the next thing you know, we have a vicious cycle going on. It's not going on necessarily in other communities like it is with our community. And so the gun has been placed in the community. I recall me growing up and how guns was accessible. How I got my first gun. It was I didn't even have to pay for it. But
right.
Knowing, reflecting back, I also realized that I didn't even have the proper knowledge of the use of it and why I needed a gun anyway. But that just was the environment. That's what it dictated at that point in time. And when you're ignorant, when you're illiterate, and you really don't know, then you fall victim to that. And I fell victim to that. Fortunate enough, I didn't take nobody's life. I never wanted to take nobody's life, but I knew that I was living in a violent environment, and that there were certain codes that you had to live according to. And so, my advice to the brothers is that, man, let's deal with the historical on how our situation evolved to the point that it has evolved. Because if you don't give them that historical backdrop to give them a better understanding that will perhaps give them guidance in the present, that, man, rethink your situation. You know what I'm saying? Look at all of the people who are incarcerated. Look at what's going on around you. And if you're able to, if you're strong enough, man, let's see, can we provide you with the resources to keep you from falling victim to gun violence, to the negativity that's going on in the community. And so when we went to Mosby Middle School today, that's what the program was all about. Town hall meeting. What do our children need? What do our children need that they don't have that makes them very gullible and susceptible to the negative influences that they naturally adapt to? So they're going to become what their environment is. So if the environment is what it is, it's a depleted environment. It's not an enriched environment where you have all of the necessary resources for you to properly grow as a human being. And so being that we lack so much, and I'm like, yes, Sister Miss Muhammad, good program. I just hope that we can pull together as adults. You have the education. You have people here who have the resources. They're in certain state positions. Money is, they have a budget where they can help solve the problems of our community. But there's another class of people that don't want our problems to be solved in our community. They like the way that it is. And so we have this very destructive, deplorable condition, and it's difficult for many of our people who have become so educated. Many of them, has a certain level of fear, and they don't want to go into the hot spots. And so my thing is the returning citizens changing the narrative, chosen to level up. So the responsibility is on me. I'm going back to the community where I may have contributed, to the worsening of the community.
Right.
So I'm not scared of you, bro. You may have what you have, but man, I'm fearless. I have a knowledge of myself. I don't come to harm you. I come in love. I come with knowledge. I come with wanting to see you do better. I want you to escape what I didn't escape, and I had to spend 35 years and 11 months in somebody's facility telling me what to do. And I'm grateful that I ran across brothers who had already made their turning point in life to better themselves so that they can be a different, excuse me for it, man, I'm getting and stuff, and it's sounding you out. But, I'm grateful that I ran into what we call enlighteners, brothers that had knowledge, brothers that can help me out, answer some of my questions and stuff. And it's the same thing with our young brother. Our young brothers don't necessarily want to do the negativity that they're involved in, but it's man, I ain't got nothing. And so, the job is, man, to fulfill those needs. What is it that you need, brother? Let me help you out with that. If I do this and we do this as a collective, if we adopt you, and I think that we need to establish an adoption program with some of our brothers and our sisters that need a little bit more help, because the father might not be there. The mother education might be meager. It might not be what it needs to be to help that child from not being so influenced by what's going on around them, and get them caught up in a vicious cycle and make many terrible and unfortunate mistakes, and then they have to spend their life in prison.
Are you
having? So our brothers, they making many mistakes, and they just need guidance. They got everything else. They got everything that they need in order to be a powerful, great generation. But we just need that sound, divine, truthful guidance of the time and what must be done. If we're to elevate to the next level, we're going to have to do it with our youth, and we're going to have to provide them with the essential resources that they need.
Do they ever ask the question, Are you having those tough conversations when it comes to the 35 years, 11 months? Is anybody asking the questions? Hey, what is time like? Are because I think a lot of times younger people, they're not thinking about what incarceration actually is. They're not
Right.
thinking about what happens after you pull the trigger. Everybody's thinking about why they have one or why they move a certain way, but nobody's thinking about the result. Do you have those real conversations with anybody where you like, look,
With a few of them, I have had that conversation, and just being frank and raw with them to let them know that, brother, if you going into the system that you have very little knowledge about, when you get apprehended, that means you can't get away right then and there, bro. And then when you are charged with offenses that you may didn't understand the time that came along with that. And you might don't understand that each time you commit something that you may be committing a crime where time is attached to everything that you do. And so you can be making all of these mistakes, and when they apprehend you and they charge you and they say, well, we charge you with these following offenses. And then you learn that these offenses carry this particular amount of time.
because
And then you
knows
never
that,
imagine yourself doing life in 56 years. That's why I did 35 years and 11 months, because in the final analysis, after I had made so many ignorant mistakes, that I wind up with life in 56 years and never could imagine in my wildest imagination that I would end up with that type of time. And what is a life sentence in terms of number? 600 years.
Yep.
Plus the 56 years. So I had 650 years in terms of number. And I'm like, how am I going to be able to? You can't do that because you can't max out a life sentence.
Right.
And fortunate enough, and then they certified me as an adult, even though I was a juvenile. I got apprehended at the age of 14. So my brain is still developing. I ain't understanding the full magnitude of the decisions and stuff that I'm making. And so in sharing this with the brother, I said, brother, your brain is still developing right now. So you may not be able to comprehend the fullness of what I'm sharing with you, but let me give you, this is what I went through. And so after I got all that time, brother, they sent me right into the system.
Do you want to
and now I got to try to, hopefully I see somebody that I know to give me guidance, because now fear sets in, anxiety sets in, hopelessness sets in. And now your mom can't come and get you. Your dad can't come and get you. Your partners can't come and get you. You got to go through that system. You got to be processed through the reception center. The reception centers do what they do for you, and then they send you right into the jails, the prison. And as still a juvenile, I was sent into an adult facility where there's rape going on, still going on back during that time in the early 80s. I got apprehended in 83, and I was sent to 500 Spring Street. And fortunate enough, I knew somebody that was already there that gave me the prison code on how to function within this environment. Don't you deviate, or this can bring about life-threatening causes for you. And fortunate enough, I was wise enough, and I hung and I learned from those older individuals that wanted to see me grow. So, man, you got to be better than you said you are when you came in here. So when you go home, you got something to contribute. And so as I go to inside the prison, I done seen murder. I done seen people get burnt up. I done seen and heard about people getting raped. And so I don't want to experience it, but this is the things that we get exposed to, and we become traumatized. And so we may link up with different organizations because, man, we want to stay clear of adding more time to the time that you already got. And so hopefully we get around strong, enlightened, intelligent brothers who are on a path that is respected within the institution from the administration and their peers, and they're showing you some. I said, brother, this is what I want to do, because I don't have no self-discipline. I don't have no structure as a black man, because I didn't have that when I was out in free society. And so once you get on that path and they're able to wake you up and answer some of the questions that you've been groping in the dark about getting answers to, and once the brother shares specific knowledge to me, and helped me to see. I said, brother, we went through all of that. They did all of this to us. They robbed me of so and so and so. No wonder I'm having problems. And so once that the light comes on in your mind, then you get on that path and you affirm. Because I had to be strong on that base. Said, look, brother, you're gonna be tested. Brothers ain't gonna like the fact that you're changing your life, and you're gonna have to be stern about your new growth and development, your new path of life. And I had to tell some of them, I said, brother, don't interfere with me trying to develop a new life, a new person. Because man, I will fight you. No, I don't mean it like, no, you meant it like that in ignorance, brother, but don't come and try to interfere with me trying to make myself better. And so we run across those situations, and fortunate enough, you know what I'm saying, I just stand firm because I already had it in me. I just needed to know better, and then, man, just stay on that path right until this very day. I'm still on that path. I'm still growing. I'm still learning, and I still want to do greater things. And so, you know, that talk with them, some come back and say, man, I appreciate that, man. I said, brother, where do you want to start? If you don't know, then we will help you until you're able to find out exactly what it is that you want to do, but you need to start reading. I said, because that helps with my change, because words develop the mind. And I said, brother, you know, if it wasn't for reading, and everything is in a book. And we was taught that if you want to hide anything from a person, put it in a book. Well, what's in the book? Knowledge is in the book. Power is in the book. And I noticed that you said from prison to power. You had that on the flyer. And I'm like, yeah. And we're constantly evolving and growing into power. We're growing into ourselves. And we want to demonstrate more of that inner power that's being lying so dormant in us. Absent the knowledge, which we say is power, is properly applied, it turns into power. So each and every day, I challenge myself to become a better person. Each and every day, I'm challenging myself to try new things, to stretch myself more and more, because I learned that, man, if you want to find God, you want to seek God, you want to experience greatness, it all bottled up in you. You just need the knowledge. You just need the skill. You just need somebody to help you bring that forth. And so, you know, some of the younger brothers that I was able to share that with when we was incarcerated, bro, they didn't get it then, but they may have gotten it a year or two, and they all came back and said, brother, I appreciate you, you know, coming at us. Appreciate you, man, constantly, you know what I'm saying, staying on top of me, trying to get, he said, brother, I got it now. And all I can say, man, give the praise to the Most High that I was enlightened to the point where I was concerned about wanting to help the next man open their eyes up. I said, brother, you got to be a better person than the person that when you came in for your family.
Let me ask you,
you know, after doing that time, and a lot of the brothers, they accept it, they go back and think about it, say, brother, you got anything that I can read? And I always start them off with self-help books. Brother, read this. Let's read this book. Think as a man thinketh. I said, because that's where our problems come in. And so I started with that book first. And I said, brother, let us, what you don't understand, let us build. Let us sit at the table. Because I see what you're doing. And then the brother said, you know, some of their friends, they don't like that. I said, well, brother, this is about you. You want to be a better person so that when you return back to society, you have something that you can contribute to your family, that you can do for yourself. And so that process, that journey is still going on to this very day. That advice I gave you is the advice that I'm still giving to brothers right to this very day. And by the grace of God, I've been able to help 21 brothers get home. Going down to the parole board, advocate for them, helping their family to learn the process. And so, you know what, that makes me feel good, because that's how I get my satisfaction, helping the next person. And that person is on this path and is doing the things that they need to do in order to become a better person. So, yeah, I get those questions, and I just be raw with them, bro. You know, the trauma, the police, you know what I'm saying, abusing their authority, you know, guys getting beat up in segregation. So, you know, if you're not going to master that environment, which we should all strive to do once we learn the primary objective of that environment, the psychology of that environment, and what it's intended to do, and how it works continuously to dehumanize us, to unman us. And we don't want that to be ever taken away. We don't ever want that to be challenged. And many of us have used that knowledge, that wisdom, to overcome lower vibrational or low thinking people that think that they're better than me because I'm incarcerated. For the most part, if you're ignorant, then you're incarcerated. And so from prison to power is our process of all about coming up out of state of ignorance.
Let me ask you a question real quick. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's low. Because somebody called in and it reduced your volume.
Yeah, I always tell people put the phone on D&D during the interviews because I was trying to ask a few questions.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can hear you good enough, though.
Okay, I had a few questions I was going to ask real quick. So I wanted to pivot. You did 35 years, 11 months. To the brothers and sisters that are coming home from incarceration, when it comes to getting reacclimated to society, to freedom, to getting used to being on this side of the things, what are some words of encouragement or some pointers, some do's and don'ts? What is it, some things that you might want to share with those brothers and sisters?
Oh, yeah. Immediately, first, brother, I wanted to find out what they're lacking. Because I'm constantly trying to link up with various organizations. I'm constantly trying to link up with people that can provide for some of their basic needs. And they normally let me know. So, well, brother, I need a job. Well, I want to be connected to people that can help them get a job. And so I work on it. Brother just called me today. Said, brother, man, my PO said that I need a full-time job. I got a part-time job. I said, brother, let me work on that. Let me send you some information so that you can fulfill that request. Anything else do you need? Because I always want to ask the question, what is it that you need that's going to help you with your transition? And once they share that with me, if they need clothing, okay, let me get in contact with this organization, because that's what they do. And that's the important of the various organizations that I am connected with, that they're able to provide resources that I may not have at this point in time, but definitely working on developing those resources so that we can help our people not fall through the crack. If we need to connect them with whatever their faith is, then I want to be connected with my pastors. I want to be connected with the mosques. Whatever your religious affiliation, if it's more sign, if it's sooner, then I want to find myself interacting with those brothers so that those brothers' spiritual needs can be accommodated. So, well, brother, I'm going to send you this, brother. If this is the path that you on, then this is the path that you continue to stay there. We got brothers, they have resources. And so, we know what we need when we get home. Are you having any problem with family issues? Do you need shelter? So I'm connected with different organizations that if you don't have no shelter, then, brother, we're going to help you get the shelter that you need. We're going to try to definitely accommodate you with what you need so that, man, and then check up on you. I do wellness check. I'll call you, say, brother, wellness check, how are you doing? How are you doing psychologically, emotionally? Because after being locked up for so many years, and as the psychologist is reporting right now, that, man, we dealing with anxiety, we dealing with oppression. We're dealing with post-traumatic stress. And so these are some of the emotional things that we deal with being out of circulation for so long. We have a problem that many of us probably don't even pay attention of because we stay focused on trying to get our situation back in order. And a sister asked me, she said, well, Brother Willie, you said you stay busy. I said, yes, ma'am. That's life. That's life activity. I must stay busy. I must continue to do what I was doing when I was in prison. Yes, I do take into consideration that I have psychological issues, but I work them out personally. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to bring that on nobody. If I have to talk to somebody, I don't have no problem talking to no psychologist. So whatever I need, I don't have the problem going after what I personally need if I need psychological help and stuff. So the brothers and the sisters, we make sure that they get what they need, and it's a multitude of nonprofit organizations that helps with that. And so that's the way we try to make sure that they're secure, that when they come home and we check up on them, we don't just say, okay, brother, you good and I'm gone. No, I'm going to check on and say, brother, stay in contact with me, because we don't want you to have to recidivate. You know, we want to develop a relationship that if you're having such a hard problem, man, reach out to us. It's a group of us that are concerned enough that we're willing to pool our resources together to make sure you make it, man. And I got brothers right to this very day that said, brother, I'm struggling. I said, okay, brother, let me holler at some of the brothers. What's your issue? And we come together and we make sure that brother get what he need. And so those are the things that we working on up here in Virginia, and it needs to be brought in many nonprofit organizations. But I think that we are better able to relate to those who have been incarcerated and came home, because we have that lived experience. We know what we had to deal with when we first got home. Fortunate enough, I had two families. It was my immediate family, and then it was my extended family, which is the nonprofit organizations. And so they helped me where I may have not been able to get the help from family. And so, you know, that's a beautiful thing that somebody is there to help you after being locked up for so long at the age of 14, and then you get home when you're 51.
Right.
And so, you know, those are some of the issues that we got. We're working in the community, and we're working with some of the officials, and we hear them out. But we know in the final analysis of thing, man, we're going to have to make this happen ourselves for our own people. And that's why I'm stressing the importance of, brother, we must produce businesses among ourselves. And some of our brothers who have came home, they have done exactly that, and they doing well. And we all support that business to make sure that that business grow and that it become prosperous, that it become rich in everything, so that when we need help, that same business that we patronize, they're able to give back and help us as well. So it's all about us helping us, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
All about us helping each other.
We getting ready to bring this to an end, brother Willie, because I think the audio's been messed up, man. I had a bunch of questions I needed to ask you, but I'm probably gonna bring you up here for a round two because I wasn't able to ask any questions. I'm not sure if you were able to hear me. But you got a lot of information out. Where can people contact you? Where can they get a hold of you, whether it's your email, anything like that, because you're working with the RIHD? And also some final words, whether it's words of encouragement, whether it's things that you got going on in the community, whatever it is, as we bring this to a close.
Yeah, they can get at me. They can contact me at 804-677-1930 at RIHD, Resource Information Help for the Disadvantaged and Disenfranchised. Brother Willie X Brown, Justice Advocate. My email is wilxb@rihd.org. That's where I can be reached at. Post Office Box, P.O. Box 55, Highland Springs, Virginia, 23075. I can be reached at that information there. And final words, oh man. And I like to leave it on a divine note. Be ye transformed in your mind, or let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. That mind is a divine mind. Struggle each and every day to bring out your inner divinity. If you want to ever experience God while we are living, then connect to the nature of who and what you are. So, you know, you can't do that without knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We should constantly be to experience our higher self, our spiritual self, that this world does not feed. It feeds us garbage. It has no respect to the Most High. And like the scripture said, we are made in the image and the likeness of the Most High. That's what I would leave them with, man. Recognize that, believe that, study that, parse that a piece, you know, piece it together, bring it together, dissect it, do whatever you need to do to understand that statement as it relates to yourself. And we know that this world does not give proper imagery to
Right.
feed that divine image that's already lying up in us, waiting to come forth and express itself on a higher level than the level that this world has for us or feeds us on a daily basis, disrespecting the sacredness of our mind. And the beautiful thing about your podcast is that you got positive, uplifting, informative, enlightened content, showing respect for the airwaves, because the airwaves is sacred. And people might not even acknowledge is that everything around us is sacred. And with the type of world that we live in, it has no respect for sacred things. It's much less than human being. So that would be my last word. Like Dick Gregory said, a smart man gathers knowledge throughout his life. A wise man shares knowledge throughout his life. Thank you so much, brother, for allowing me to grace your podcast. I look forward to part 2 if things didn't go well. Blessings to everybody, all of the fighting organization, all of the returning citizens, brother, chosen to level up. Let's keep on doing what we're supposed to be doing. Our people need us. Our community need us. Our youth need us. Let us be that strong torchlight and example for the next generation. Peace and blessings. Thank you once again, brother Christopher.
Yes, sir. Peace, brother Willie. Yeah, no, it was a lot of good and great information and insight. But I definitely want to get you up here for part 2 because I got some specific questions I want to ask you to get your response on. Because prior to this, when people started sending questions via Messenger, stuff like that. So when we get a part 2, definitely do some Q&A with you. Thank you. Definitely thank you for getting up here, sharing your story. To do 35 years, 11 months is one thing. To come home and keep fighting for, those that are behind those walls and helping the people that are coming home is an entirely different thing. And somebody that, is part of that process, man, I salute you. It's because of brothers like you, other brothers that I see, man, that keep me motivated. If you're at home and you're just wondering how you can become a part of the process, hopefully you gained something today. Brother Willie gave a lot of great insight and perspective. You can start in your neighborhood. You can start with the young people down the street. You can start anywhere. You can start on social media. You can start a podcast. There's different things you can do to make sure that you're heard and inspired. Again, salute to you, King. Definitely gonna do a part 2. Man, you shoot me a message. I'll shoot you a message. We get that scheduled ASAP, right away. And I look forward to getting you back up here, man, getting some more. I got some good questions. And one thing I do want to say to you too, I definitely also want to invite you, not just for a part 2 for you, but to invite you up here with a panel as well, where we're going to do a roundtable discussion on
Yes, sir.
Relationships.
Yes, sir. It'd be my pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all of that stuff, man. So just getting strong voices in the room, man. So again, thank you. Everybody that's watching this, make sure
yes, sir.
You tap in with Brother Willie. Salute to him. Tap in with RIHD. Tap in with everything that he's doing. Support the cause. And to the this, I do gotta say this before we wrap. It wasn't the most encouraging news when it came to SB 842 this year or this General Assembly, or what, with everything that's going on. But we can't be discouraged to the point where we give up the fight. We just got to regroup, reassess, readjust, and keep going forward, man. Until the results come, and they will. It takes hard work, consistency, and discipline to bring forth change. And that's it, man. Be your value. Understand your value. That's what I got. From all of this. Don't let anything define you. And do your part, and don't underestimate your part. And that's it. On that note, peace, blessings, positive vibes to you and yours, man. Be safe, be secure, be you, and be true. And man, if you watch this, if you breathe and you blessed, that's it. It's all right. Keep going. Hold your head high and understand that you are priceless. Signing off till next time. Peace.